All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a marketing tool that a lot of people have forgotten about, but it can be an absolute powerhouse for your website's search score. I'm talking about the business directory. Yeah, I know, it sounds kind of old school, right? But trust me, when you use it the right way, it's a killer strategy for building amazing backlinks and, most importantly, getting found by your customers. So let's look at how we can turn these simple listings into pure SEO gold.
So, picture this. You've spent all this time and money building a beautiful website for your business. It looks great, it works perfectly, but there's one giant problem. Nobody can find it. You're practically invisible online. This is what we call the invisibility problem. And you know, it's a huge source of frustration for so many business owners who are out there doing incredible work but just aren't showing up when people are searching for them.
But what if I told you there's a way to tackle this head-on? I mean, a proven way. Research shows that businesses with properly optimized free listings in directories get a massive 42% more customer inquiries. Now think about that. That's not a tiny bump. That is a huge leap in potential customers finding you instead of the competition.
So what exactly are we talking about here? Well, just think of a business listing as your digital storefront. It's the online version of your shop on a busy street. It makes you instantly visible to anyone searching for what you offer. And we're not just talking about a name and phone number. This is your chance to show off your contact details, your hours, customer reviews, the whole shebang.
Okay, this is where things often go sideways for people. They hear get more listings and they think it's just a numbers game. But it is absolutely not. You really have to understand that not all business directories are created equal. And in fact, going after the wrong ones can do a lot more harm than good.
So really, you've got two different ways to play this. The first is what we call spray and pray. This is where you just submit your business to hundreds, maybe thousands of low-quality sites hoping something sticks. It feels productive, but it's a total waste of time and it gives you zero value. On the other hand, you have strategic selection. This is about carefully choosing high-authority relevant directories. This is how you build powerful backlinks that actually drive real traffic to your website.
And that brings up a really important question. What if you've already done some of that spraying and praying in the past? Could those old, low-quality listings be actively hurting your search ranking right now? The short answer? Oh yeah, a big yes. Google's guidelines are super clear about this. They don't like sites that take part in what they call link schemes, and that includes directories that force you to link back to them just to get a spot. So how do we tell the difference? How do we spot the SEO gold and avoid all the junk? This is where we get into the nuts and bolts of it. We're going to build a really simple framework so you can identify the directories that are actually going to help you and steer clear of the ones that'll hurt you.
The very first thing you need to look at is something called domain authority, or DA. The easiest way to think about it is like a credit score, but for a website. It basically predicts how likely that site is to rank high in search results. Now, a few years back, a DA of 40 was pretty good. Today, that's your starting line. It's the absolute bare minimum you should even consider. Anything less just isn't worth your time.
You know, you can actually tell a lot about a directory just from their sign-up process. A quality site has standards, so if they approve your submission instantly, that's a huge red flag. It means there's no quality control. What you want to see is a manual review process that takes maybe 3 to 7 days. They should be asking for detailed info about your business, not just your name and the URL. And if they demand you put a link to them on your website, nope, that's an immediate deal breaker. Just walk away.
And here's a final, really simple rule of thumb that I love. If you land on a directory's homepage and it's just cluttered with ads for spammy stuff like enhancement pills or essay writing services, just run away. Seriously. It's the clearest sign in the world that the site has zero standards, and any link you get from them is going to be toxic for your SEO. It's a gut check that works every single time.
Okay, so now we know how to find the good directories. Let's talk about the single most important rule to make this whole strategy work. Because if you get this one thing wrong, all your hard work could be for nothing. And that one thing is consistency.
It all comes down to 3 little letters, N-A-P. It stands for name, address, and phone number. Every single time those core details about your business are listed online, it's called a citation. And search engines like Google are constantly crawling the web, gathering up all these citations to double-check that your business is real, it's legit, and it's located where you say it is.
And that's exactly why consistency is so crucial. If one directory lists you on Main Street, but another one has you on Main Street, or one has an old phone number, it creates confusion. That confusion damages trust. Not just with your customers, but with search engines. Google sees those little differences and it starts to think, I'm not sure which of these is correct, so I'm not going to rank this business as high as I could.
All right, enough theory. Let's make this real. What can you actually do? Where should you even start? If you do nothing else after this, just focusing on a handful of key platforms will give you the absolute biggest bang for your buck.
These 4 are the foundation. They are the non-negotiables. Your Google Business Profile is, of course, the big one. It feeds right into Google Search and Google Maps. But you can't sleep on Bing, Facebook, and Yelp. These are all high-authority platforms that search engines already trust. So your top priority should be to claim and fully optimize your listings on these 4.
Now, when you saw Bing on that list, I know what you might be thinking. Bing? Does anyone even use Bing anymore? And this chart shows exactly why you can't afford to ignore it. Of course, Google is the 800-pound gorilla with 85% of the market. But Bing's 8% still adds up to millions and millions of searches every day. And often, it's a slightly different crowd doing the searching.
But here's the real secret weapon. The competition on Bing is just, well, this quote says it all. It's laughable compared to Google. You could be struggling to get on page 3 of Google for one of your main keywords, but with just a little bit of optimization effort, you could be sitting right at number 1 on Bing. It is a genuine, undiscovered goldmine that most businesses are totally ignoring.
So let's just recap the payoff for all this work. What's in it for you? Well, you're building a portfolio of powerful, authoritative backlinks that boost your own website's credibility. You are generating qualified traffic from people who are actively looking for what you do. And you are setting yourself up to dominate local search results, which is where your best, highest intent customers are hanging out.
So what can you do, like, right now? I want to leave you with a super simple 3-minute audit you can do the second this is over. Just do these 3 things. Google your business name, then Google your business address, and just check what comes up. Are there old addresses, wrong phone numbers, different versions of your business name floating around? Finding and fixing those little inconsistencies is your first, most powerful step toward turning directories into an engine for growth. The real question is, what are you going to find?